Start off this week, we actually finally start seeing the nice seasonal fall conditions, but yesterday we saw it start to warm up a little bit. But with the cold front passing on through, we're going to be pretty breezy today and a little bit cooler before we start to warm back into that weekend. And we're going to have a system, actually a couple, one Sunday, one coming in next week. We want to bring in some of that well-needed rain, and then these systems are both going to help us cool back down as we get into next week. But let's start here looking at satellite radar. Some of the rain we actually started seeing yesterday. Notice that we do have a little bit of cloud cover still in the UP and the Arrowhead. Might see some showers later in the day make its way down into the Arrowhead parts, but most of the rain has moved on out of here. We're now seeing plenty of sunshine this morning, and likely for most of us to continue to see that. But as I mentioned, can see a little bit of cloud cover and some showers in the Arrowhead and the UP even as we get into the afternoon. But overall, it's going to be a really nice day for many of us. Though a little bit blustery to start off. You can see the winds. These are sustained winds, and you notice 12, 13 miles per hour in the Twin Ports, Hibbing respectively, picking up as well towards Grand Marais and along the South Shore. So we're seeing those winds pick up behind this cold front. And in fact, we're now looking at those wind gusts. 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts are possible. Strongest into the Arrowhead and into the UP here, especially by Lake Superior. And it's going to be strongest overall over the lake itself. And this is why we can see some decently strong winds. Now, we are going to calm down overnight, but until then, we are going to start to see those waves decently get strong. They're not going to be very high, especially into the head of Lake Superior, 2 to 4 feet. But as you go further east, especially around Grand Marais, Grand Portage, and especially around the UP, we can see those waves getting 5 feet or more at times. So just keep that in mind as you decide to go by the lake for today. Outside, that's going to be a really nice one. And that includes the temperatures. Not quite as warm as it was yesterday, but maybe still a little bit on the mild side. We're looking at 50s for majority of us, upper half to 50s. As you go southwest along the I-35 corridor, looking more into those lower 60s. So really not a bad day at all, especially with that sun going to be out. Overnight lows dipping more into those 30s. So we're going to be maybe a few freezes possible, especially look at their Hibbing Ely. This model showing 33 degrees, so a little chilly overnight for some spots. And then we're going to start to see the warmer temperatures come back into Saturday. Now, many of us getting into those 60s, staying a little bit cooler along the North Shore thanks to that lake breeze. And if you look here at the radar forecast, we're going to have a system off to the southwest as we get into Saturday. Now, we're not going to be seeing any rain or clouds from this system quite yet, but it's going to be drawing in some of that warmer air. But as we pull this out to Sunday, the system will start to bring that rain as it continues to push up into our area. We can see the first round likely coming as we start to get late Saturday going into Sunday morning. And then we might calm down a bit in the afternoon, but we're going to continue to see probably even more substantial rain going late Sunday into early Monday as that cold front passes on through. Rain totals can vary from model to model. Here's that Euro model showing probably a less than half an inch for much of the Northland. While if you look at the GFS model, it has more of a bias to the northwest, but it does show that we could possibly push close to an inch of rain. Hopefully you do see the upper end. We are in a drought right now, even though it is pretty light and moderate. Something we just want to see is some good rain. Now, it won't be the only system making its way in as we have a bit of a calm period early next week. Another system could develop Wednesday into Thursday. Models are a little bit disagreeing to keep oscillating, but in that time frame, you can see another system. Again, hopefully a decent amount of rain to help with the drought conditions. And both systems, what they're going to do is keep those temperatures cool. As I mentioned, we're going to be a little bit more mild this weekend, but look as we get into next week, we're going to drop back down. We're going to be more seasonal. A lot of us are going to be into the 50s, maybe some spots staying in the upper 40s, especially as we get to Tuesday. But it looks like overall trend is, if we want to look a little bit further out, if you're looking here at the 8 to 14 day outlook, we're probably going to be leaning a little bit above average, but it's only a leaning towards. There's not a lot of confidence. So it looks like we're really going to start to feel those cooler days move forward as we start to finish out October. And if you look at our 7-day forecast, this weekend though, as I mentioned, going to be a little mild, so enjoy the more mild side of fall this weekend and enjoy the rain. We definitely need it this Sunday before we start to cool back down as we get into next week. With that, I'm going to take it back to Maria.